The sides of a right triangle have a unique relationship. This relationship can be described by using the Pythagorean theorem. The shorter sides of a right triangle are called the legs. They will always form the right angle. The longest side of a right triangle is called the hypotenuse. It will always be opposite or across from the right angle. If we look at a right triangle, let's label the parts. So find the right angle and look across from it. There, we're going to find the hypotenuse. The two shortest sides that make up the right angle, these are known as the legs. The Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a and b are the legs, or the shorter two sides of a right triangle, and c is the hypotenuse, or the longest side of a right triangle. The Pythagorean theorem means that the sum of the squares that are drawn off of the legs will always be equal to the square that's drawn off the hypotenuse. The Pythagorean theorem can also be used to determine if a triangle is a right triangle.
For number 1, we're trying to find the length of the missing side, and the missing side happens to be the hypotenuse. So start with the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and plug in 6 and 8 for the legs. So 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared. 6 squared is 36, 8 squared is 64. When we add those two numbers together on the left, we get 100 equals c squared. And to get c by itself, we're going to take the square root of each side, and we get that c equals plus or minus 10, but positive 10 is the only number that makes sense. So 10 centimeters is the length of our missing side. In number 2, now we're trying to solve for a leg. So we're going to start with the Pythagorean theorem, but we're going to plug 12 in for b and 13 in for c. So a squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. That's a 3. So a squared plus 12 squared is 144 equals 13 squared, which is 169. Now we want to get the a squared term by itself, so we're going to subtract 144 from both sides. That gives us a squared equals 25. Again, we're going to take the square root of each side to get a by itself, and we only want the positive answer, so a is going to equal 5. So our missing side is 5 feet. Now we can also use the Pythagorean theorem to determine whether or not we have a right triangle. So if we start with the Pythagorean theorem and we plug in our numbers, making sure that the largest value goes in the C spot, if we have two numbers on each side of the equal sign that are the same, we know that we have a right triangle. So 3 squared plus 4 squared, we're checking to see if that equals 5 squared. 3 squared is 9, plus 4 squared is 16. Hopefully that equals the right side, which is 25. 9 plus 16 is 25. So since we get the same number on each side of the equal sign, we know that we have a right triangle. Number 4, now our side lengths are 7, 5, and 4 millimeters. Again, be careful to make sure that you plug in 7 as the C value. 4 squared plus 5 squared, we're checking to see if it's equal to 7 squared. 4 squared is 16, plus 5 squared is 25. 7 squared is 49. On the left, we get 41. On the right, we get 49. So since they're not equal, we don't have a right triangle.